Alright, so here's how this week is going to work. We're going to do the quotient rule today along with the zero exponent rule. Do negative exponents on Tuesday, and then we're going to review Wednesday and Thursday with a quiz Friday. The other thing I'm going to do starting tomorrow is I have some answer keys to these that I'm going to email out if you've turned in the work. You turn in the work, I'll give you some answer keys so you can check your work and get questions answered and make adjustments as needed. So when we have our quotient rule and these match, we subtract them. So yet again, another one where it doesn't seem like you would subtract those, but that's what ends up happening. So what we have here is 27 and 42. They don't reduce, at least initially here, where we don't have to. So what we do have, though, the focus of this rule is x to the 5 minus 1. So that's what we do when we have one of these. You just subtract if your bases match. And then you have 27 over 42. And this ends up on top. And we can take these one step further. Typically, when they give you some fractions, you can reduce them to some extent. So 27 and 42 have a common multiple of 3. So you can divide both by 3. And that gives me 9. And 42 divided by 3 is 14. So you have 9/14, and then the x to the 4th tags along. Here, this is where we're going to start using multiple rules. So first we have to do our power to a power rule that we did on Friday. Y to the 2 raised to the 2 is the same thing as 2 times 4. So you get y to the 4th. But then also we have y to the 4th on the bottom. Well, you guys should know that when you have the same thing on top and bottom, and you divide those two things, what are you going to get? You are going to get 1. That is further supported by this down here. Anything to the 0 power is 1. So if I come back up here to this one that we just finished up, why is it 1? Well, here we go. We have 4 minus 4. That's y to the 0. And like we said, anything to the 0 power is 1. So that's another one of those rules you got to kind of know. And then we come down here. So since this is already to the 0 power, I just end up with 7 times 1. Because anything to the 0 power is replaced by 1. 7 times 1 is 7. Down here, we do our power to a power rule and get w to the 8th. Divide that by w to the 8th. And then we have 8 minus 8. W to the 0 equals 1. So you'll notice on some of these, even though they're basic, I'm showing multiple steps. And I kind of expect that the same as today. So you do not need to upload that first page, that graphic organizer. You can just start with this page here, which is page 7 of the handout. Remember that we are just going to subtract these today, and that we also had our 0 power rule. Okay, and both of those are going to come into play. So we have 5 minus 3, so that is x squared. We have k to the 12 minus 2. That's k to the 10th. And we've already done this one here, m to the 3 minus 3, which is m to the 0. That applies that rule there, first power. So now we can get into a little more complex things with multiple variables. So we have a to the 6 minus 2 and b to the 4 minus 3. And that's going to equal a to the 4th and b to the 1st. Or just a to the 4th b. Here we have 7 minus 4, and for the q we have 16 minus 12, so you end up with p cubed and q to the 4th. Last one from the examples up here, you end up with x to the 20 minus 5, y to the 9 minus 9, so they're going to end up canceling out, and z to the 2 minus 1. So our finalized answer is x to the 15th, and y to the 0, z to the 1st, so I don't know why that equal one in there. Oh, I know, I was thinking ahead here. So there's the equal sign, and then that goes away, because again, anything to the 0 power is 1. We end up x to the 15th, and then just z, because you don't need to write the 1. Couple more examples down here. 3 to the x to the 4 minus 3, because we did 6 divided by 2 to get 3. X to the 4 minus 3, which is 3x to the 1, which is just 3x. 14 minus 7 is 2, and r the 2 minus 1, and s to the 2 minus 1. So that's just going to be 2r1 s1 or 2rs. Here we have negative 9, because it's negative 36 divided by 4. C the 2 minus 2 is C the 0, and then D the 5 minus 3. So we end up with negative 9. C's cancel, and you have D squared. A couple more. The two negatives cancel. 15 divided by 3 is 5. And we have x to the 6 minus 5. Y to the 5 minus 3. And so we have 5x to the 1st, or just 5x, and y squared. Here, 4 divided by 8 simplifies to 1/2. And we have n to the 5th minus 1, so it is just simply n to the 4th. You don't need to put the 1. And then it's divided by 2. 36 divided by 54. You can divide both of those by 9, which would give me 4, 6, if I divided both of them by 9. So actually, you could have also put 18 into it, but I didn't think of that initially, so it's fine. 4, 6, since they're both even, you can actually reduce that to 2/3. If I would have divided both of those by 18, I would have got 2/3 as well. This is where you gotta be careful how you write these. You can't put it underneath. That's wrong. But you'll also see just kind of written on one line, like this. M to the 9 minus 3, and n to the 5 minus 2. And then you're simplifying from there, 2/3 m to the 6 n cubed. Or you can put it all on top and then divide it by what you have. I get the same thing. Couple mixed practice ones, and then we're going to leave you to finish the second page. So these, kind of the order starts to become important. You can't simplify 3/27 first because we have to do our power to a power rule and square this. So when I do that initially, I end up with 9, and then 5 raised to the 2nd power becomes x to the 10th on top, and I end up with 27x cubed on bottom. 9/27 reduces to 1/3, and then I have x to the 10 minus 3, so that is 1/3 x. Again, I'm trying not to put that on bottom here, so I'm going to fix that. 1/3 x to the 7th. Over here, like I said again, we do our distributive property first. And so we want to multiply. So 2 to the 3rd, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So we have 8 on top. 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 8 to the 6th power. 4 times 3 is 12. We have b to the 12th power. On bottom, you have 4, 8 cubed, b to the 7th. So we will subtract. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we divide that first. And then we have a to the 6 minus 3. And b to the 12 minus 7. So you end up with 2a cubed, b to the 5th. 2 more here. Same thing, do your distributive property here. So we end up with 12, w to the 9th, v to the 4th. The top doesn't change initially. 4 squared is 16. And we have w squared, v squared on bottom. 12/16 reduces to 3/4. And then we have w to the 9 minus 2. And we have v to the 4 minus 2. So that's going to reduce to 3/4 w to the 7th and 4 minus 2 v squared. Last example I'll do today. This 4 has to get distributed in. So 4th power, so we have 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So we have 16 on top is 2 to the 4th. And we have c to the 4th, and then the 4 times 4, we have d to the 16th. On bottom, we're just squaring everything, so 2 squared is 4. These get multiplied by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 2 is 6. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So that takes care of the numbers. The c's are going to cancel. We have 4 minus 4. I'll just write that this time. And we have 16 minus 6. That simplifies to, again, that goes away, 4d to the 10th. So I did one page. You have to finish up through 28. So I guess in theory your assignment is 1 to 28. And again, you'll notice I have 1, 2 steps and then a final answer. 1, 2 steps and a final answer. I expect to see that down here as well. So have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Try every single one. I know that they're hard, but you should be able to try to apply the rules from your sheet from the first page, take your guess on them, and then we'll start talking about how we fix them tomorrow.